Alright you guys, we're going to get busy cutting out our F1-17 stealth fighter. You can use 30mm or 28mm EDF jet. I was going to go over a few things, which is I started putting on here 45 cut outward. So that means you're going to go on your line that way. And anywhere I got it, you'll see this is a 45 in. So that means you cut in. I'll start putting this on all my plans, that way it makes it a little easier for you. But alright, let's get started. I tape my sheet down on my foam board. And like I said guys, always use the bow. Put the crown at the top. These sheets come with a little bow in them. So you want the crown at the top. And you'll see one side of the sheet is smoother than the other. But I always like to put the crown at the top. It makes the plane, when you build it, gives it a better airfoil shape. Alright, let's start with the main airframe. I'll go ahead and cut this out. As you can see, it's a 45-degree cut with an arrow pointing that way, so we're going to put it on our line. Let me get a different knife. I'm going to go ahead and do my 45s on the main airframe first. I numbered all the pieces. I'm going to try to get through this a little quicker than my other videos too. Alright, for your elavons, those are 45 inward. Turned out to be one cool jet. I love flying it. Again guys, I'm just doing the 45 with the arrow pointing that way, so I'm 45 in it toward the inside of the fuselage, or the main body of the plane. Alright, so we cut out our main airframe. Just go ahead and put that off to the side. We'll move on to piece mark number 2, which is your fuselage. Here we got a 45-degree cut in toward the piece. And if you guys want, you can do more than the 45-degree angle on some of these. I even got it marked in some places where there's 65-degree angle cuts. You can make it 70, 75. Kind of the more the better. In. Right now I'm just working on the main fuselage part. Alright, now these are all on your front of your fuselage, which is kind of your canopy front end here. We're going to do 65-degree cuts, all 4 of these, angled inward. Like I said, you can make them a little more too. Kind of the more the better. So if you want to go 70-degree, alright, now on these canopy lines here in front of your fuselage, you're just going to want to score them. I would only score about halfway through them too. You don't have to go real deep. Just a nice little score is fine. Again, I'm just scoring all these. You don't want to go all the way through. Don't care about that paper moving. Already on it. Alright. This is your main fuselage piece. Now what you want to do, flip your sheet over, and the piece we just cut from the other side, we're going to take and put some clear tape over this. Again, here's our piece here. I want to connect all these lines that we just scored and make them more, they won't fall apart on you. So you're just going to put clear tape on the back. Go ahead and put quite a few pieces just to make it nice and strong. Alright, now we can pull it out of here. Alright, so there's our piece we just made. Now you can take and break each one where you scored it. If you got anything hung up a little bit, just go back and give it a little trim. There you see. A lot of guys would cut this at 45s from the back, but you're really not going to need to, because we're going to clear tape over any of these cracks that are in here. So this is your main fuselage, which will go right on this area. Actually exactly right there. Alright, so that's our main fuselage. Let's move on to the top of the fuselage. These are all 45 cuts inward toward the piece, and you'll see it here, 45 in. Cutting on the back of a carpet. It's actually just my wife's, one of her throw rugs. This stuff works really good. So you got to go out and get one of those pads at the hobby store. So again, we're just doing the top of the fuselage. All 45 cuts inward. Now here we have a line on top of the fuselage. Just score it. Wherever I have score, you just want to score it. That means just go about halfway through. And again, keep your guys' plans off to the side because you'll find you'll need them at some place. Like these air intakes, they go on the side of this. You don't cut those out until we attach this to the main airframe, because your piece will be all flimsy and stuff. Alright, there's the line we just scored. I'm just going to take and snap it a little. And I'll put some clear tape across the back of that line just to make sure it never breaks in this spot. So there we go, that little score gave us that little bend. For this piece, put our plans to the side here. There's that piece. Alright, let's move on to these left air intake cover. Again, there's some 65-degree cuts on here. I prefer you to go more, so if you get like 70 or 75, that's fine. They got to be some nice angles on them. So these are your air intake covers. That's what I call them anyway. So here's the 65-degree line. I'm going to go ahead and put a lot more, probably like 70, 75 degree on there. Again, on some of these 45s, if you want to give them a little more, like 50, that's fine. Some 45s there. Alright, so this is your left intake. I got some lines there that you got to score. Just score across those lines. Again, just not all the way through, just score them. I'll get my X-Acto knife. I find an X-Acto knife works good on a lot of this stuff, especially for like building the bat wing. Gets right in there on them cuts. You can be a little more precise with them. So again, I'm just scoring these lines. Oops, I didn't finish my cut. Alright, there we go. There's one intake cover. Now you can see where I scored my lines in the top of it. I'm going to take and flip this piece over, add a couple of pieces of tape to the back. Again, it's on the back side because you don't want to leave those lines open that you just scored. I just want to add this, make this piece a little stronger from behind here. Now you can take and break them where you scored them. Try to get this out here so you guys can see. So there we had our top piece, our main airframe. These are going to be our air intakes. Right, let's do the other side. This is the other right hand side of the air intake. .45 inward, another .45 inward. Here's the 65. Again, just do 70 or 75. I really put my blade at an angle on these ones. And another 45. And another 45 in the front. Get these front pieces 45. Oh, that's right. Again, we're just cutting out the other side of the air intake. There's two of them. Again, we got to score these lines. I'm going to go ahead and use my X-Acto knife. It's a lot sharper and it does a more precise job. Again, let's take a, now you can see where this is going to break where I scored it. And you're going to want to take and flip your piece over, put some tape on this back side, keep your piece nice and rigid from the back. So that way you can fold your piece around and get the shape you want. Alright, moving on to these tail fins. Okay, I just straight cut on the, wherever I got straight cut, the rest, that means just all the way around the piece. The only ones you want to cut at angles are the ones that are marked. Another straight cut. Here's a 35-degree angle cut on the bottom of these stabilizer fins. If you want them to be angled slightly outward once you install them on your jet, so I'd just go less than 45 on that. Another straight cut in the back. Fin. Knock this other one out. And the rest are just straight cuts on these tail fins. There's only one 35-degree angle cut on the bottom of them. The rest are all just straight. Yeah, you guys are going to love flying this jet. It is awesome. Alright, so there we cut out all our pieces. Main airframe, main fuselage, top of the fuselage, left air intake, right air intake, and then our tail fins. Oh, we got our little, these are the exhaust spreaders. They're going to go in the back. They're going to slide in through the back of the jet to keep open the exhaust in the back. I'll just hurry and knock these out real quick. These are just all straight cuts. Yeah, I find it's actually easier to build these jets than to try to put the plans together for them. And then to try to get all these different angles and dimensions, and I try to make it in one piece that can just fold out for you guys. Again, these are just, they're called exhaust spreaders. They're going to spread out the exhaust back here. They add rigidity to your tail fins in the back. Alright, let's get this off the side. Oh, there's one of my jet boats. There's the Joker's Wild. Pretty awesome. Alright guys, we got our main pieces cut out. Exhaust tubes. Our tail fins. Tail fins. Alright, let's go ahead and cut out these elavons. Just gonna take and use my scissors. This is a hinge line here for your elavons. And I'm just going to use one elavon because that's all you really need. Again, you can mark this the top of your airframe because then you know it's got that bow in it. As you can see from the piece being bowed, it's still holding that bow. So I just mark it top. Take your elavon over here, lay it on there. I just mark my corners. You can use the same one, just flip it over to the other side. On there nice and match it up. You want your elavons to be the same size. Just marking my corners. Alright, come back in here with your ruler. So, alright, now we're going to make our cuts to get our hinge line. I always put my hinge lines on the top with just tape. So what I want to do is, this is still the top, so I'm going to 45 toward the front of the jet. Just like so. Same on the other side. The other two are just straight cuts. Now you guys can see where I made the 45s toward the front of the plane. Now I just take this where I got that 45 edge, turn your piece around. You just want to take off that 45 and put another 45 back cut into this piece. Just like that, and then you get a perfect hinge line. Go ahead and tape that on there. Don't be worried about try to put these on there and give them a little bit of, don't make them too tight, because then your servo is just doing a lot of work if the tape's too tight on these. So I leave a little gap in there so it's got room to flex around. Got a little piece of rub in here, I just take and trim off some of this. Again, for the other side, there's the 45 we put into it. Just going to turn it around, do a back cut into that 45 and take that piece right off. I leave a little gap. Now you guys, for your elavons, you can go ahead and, once you put your tape on the top, flip it over and stick a couple more pieces around there. That way it's taped from top and bottom. Still keep your hinge line. Alright, now we're going to go ahead and start working on installing the rest of these. You're going to see that the front, you want the front left and right corner here touching this edge, or at least really close to it. And these should line up with each corner in the back. So I already got some tape laid out here, so we ain't got to sit here all day. We're going to do some test fitting before we go hot gluing anything. Again, try to make sure everything looks lined up nice. Like I said, this is set right to the back corner. Again, this is just 3mm Depron sheet. Alright, so now that we got that, now you guys could see, once you get your top on, then you can lay these back on here and then cut these out and trace around each one, mark your corners, and cut out your air intakes later. Alright, let's install this. Now of course, you'd be painting this thing at some point here and installing your electronics, and make sure you got your, you know, whatever you got to do in there, you guys can take care of it. Here, I'm just going to line this up. Use some blue tape. Just kind of doing some nice test fit in here, making sure everything's looking good. I always use this blue painter's tape because it peels it off real easy, and just make sure you're all lined up real nice, your corners all meet up nice. Alright, so there's that. Alright, so now once you have your main fuselage on and the top of your fuselage, I'm going to go ahead and start putting my tape where I want it, because I would have already installed like my receiver and my battery, you know, where I wanted all that. You didn't have to cut out for your EDF yet. But lately I don't even hot glue my jets no more. I just clear tape them. It makes a really nice seam. Your seams meet up, that way you don't see all that hot glue and all that nasty stuff. And once you get them all clear taped, this thing is really strong. So yeah, there's really no need for the whole hot glue system. Only for applying your tails, I'll use the hot glue gun. And believe it or not, you're saving weight because you ain't using all that hot glue. I mean, one of them hot glue sticks alone got some hefty weight behind it. So again, I'm just going to attach everything using clear Scotch piece. And if you guys want, you can do more than the 45-degree angle on some of these. I even got it marked in some places where there's 65-degree angle cuts. You can make it 70, 75. Kind of the more the better. Right now I'm just working on the main fuselage part. Alright you guys, we're going to get busy cutting out our F1-17 stealth fighter. You can use 30mm or 28mm EDF jet. I was going to go over a few things, which is I started putting on here 45 cut outward. So that means you're going to go on your line that way. And anywhere I got it, you'll see this is a 45 in. That means you cut in. I'll start putting this on all my plans, that way it makes it a little easier for you. But alright, let's get started. I taped my sheet down on my foam board. And like I said guys, always use the bow. Put the crown at the top. These sheets come with a little bow in them. So you want the crown at the top. And you'll see one side of the sheet is smoother than the other. But I always like to put the crown at the top. It makes the plane, when you build it, gives it a better airfoil shape. Alright, let's start with the main airframe. I'll go ahead and cut this out. As you can see, it's a 45-degree cut. Alright, now these are all on your front of your fuselage, which is kind of your canopy front end here. We're going to do 65-degree cuts, all four of these angled inward. Like I said, you can make them a little more too. Kind of the more the better. So if you want to go 70 degree, alright, now on these canopy lines here in front of your fuselage, you're just going to want to score them. I would only score about halfway through them too. You don't have to go real deep. Just a nice little score is fine. Again guys, I'm just doing the 45 with the arrow pointing that way, so I'm 45 in it toward the inside of the fuselage, or the main body of the plane. Get them all. Alright, so we cut out our main airframe. Just go ahead and put that off to the side. We'll move on to piece mark number 2, which is your fuselage. Here we got a 45-degree cut in toward the piece with an arrow pointing that way, so we're going to put it on our line. Let me get a different knife. I'm just going to go ahead and do my 45s on the main airframe first. I numbered all the pieces. I'm going to try to get through this a little quicker than my other videos too. Alright, for your elavons, those are 45 inward. Turned out to be one cool jet. I love flying it.